Today, I want to talk about something that sounds almost magical: how to disappear and transform yourself. Now, before you imagine vanishing into thin air like a magician, let me clarify. This is about the power of reinvention, shedding old identities and emerging renewed. We all reach moments in life when we feel stuck, weighed down by past mistakes, limiting beliefs, or simply the person we've been so far. It's in those moments that the idea of disappearing becomes appealing, not literally disappearing, but fading away from the life we've known, the expectations others have placed on us, and even from the self-doubt that holds us back. So, how do we disappear? It begins with stepping back, taking a pause from the noise of everyday life, the judgments and the labels. We create space to look inward, to truly ask, who am I beyond my roles, my fears, my past? Disappearing is about letting go of what no longer serves us: toxic relationships, old habits, negative self-talk. It's about breaking free from the scripts written for us by others and reclaiming our own narrative. But disappearance alone isn't the end goal. The true power lies in transformation. Like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, transformation requires time, patience, and courage. It means embracing change, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. It means learning new skills, adopting new mindsets, and stepping into the unknown with faith in ourselves. Transformation is about becoming the person you are meant to be: authentic, resilient, and empowered. It's not about perfection, but progress. It's not about erasing your past, but building upon it, stronger and wiser. When we think about the idea of disappearance, our minds often jump to something literal: vanishing without a trace, escaping the eyes of the world. But in the journey of personal growth, disappearance serves as a powerful metaphor, one that is deeply tied to the process of letting go. To disappear, in this sense, is not about running away or hiding. Instead, it means stepping away from the parts of our identity and our lives that no longer serve us, and creating the space necessary for transformation to take root. Every one of us carries a collection of beliefs, roles, and habits shaped by our experiences, environment, and the expectations of others. Some of these help us grow and thrive, while others weigh us down, limiting our potential. The metaphor of disappearance invites us to consciously withdraw from these limiting aspects. It asks us to fade out of the stories we have long told ourselves, stories about who we are, what we're capable of, and where we belong. Letting go through disappearance is, first and foremost, about shedding the masks we wear, masks created by society's pressures, family expectations, or even our own fears. We might have told ourselves, "I'm not good enough, I can't change," or "this is just who I am." These thoughts become so ingrained they feel like truth, but in reality, they are merely shadows, illusions we have accepted without question. By disappearing, we allow those illusions to dissolve. We stop feeding the false narratives and begin to reconnect with our authentic selves beneath those layers. The process also involves distancing ourselves from external influences that hinder our growth. Sometimes, this means pulling away from toxic relationships that drain our energy or environments that stifle our creativity. It means recognizing when the voices around us are louder than the voice within. Disappearance is a way of reclaiming control over what influences us, enabling us to focus on what truly aligns with our values and goals. This kind of disappearance requires courage. Letting go is rarely easy because it means confronting uncertainty. We fear what will remain if we strip away our familiar identities and routines, but disappearance is less about losing ourselves and more about shedding what obscures our true nature. It is a courageous act of self-honesty, facing the discomfort of change head-on. Disappearance creates a blank canvas, a fresh start. When we let go of outdated stories and burdens, we make room for new possibilities. The space we create through disappearance is fertile ground for new ideas, new beliefs, and new versions of ourselves to grow. Like a forest clearing after a fire, disappearance clears the way for new life. Another important aspect of disappearance as letting go is that it is not a one-time event but a continuous process. Our lives are dynamic, and so are our identities. We must regularly evaluate what serves us and what holds us back, ready to disappear again and again when necessary. This cyclical process ensures that transformation is ongoing and authentic rather than forced or superficial. In summary, disappearance is a powerful metaphor for the essential process of letting go. It invites us to step back from old identities, toxic influences, and limiting beliefs. Through this intentional fading away, we clear space for renewal, growth, and authentic transformation. It is not about erasing ourselves, but about uncovering the core of who we truly are, free from the weights that once held us down. In this way, disappearance is not an end, but the beautiful beginning of becoming. Reflection and self-inquiry are fundamental practices that pave the way for meaningful personal transformation. In a world that moves quickly, where distractions are endless and external demands constantly pull us in different directions, it can be easy to lose sight of ourselves. Yet, without taking the time to pause and look inward, true growth and change remain elusive. Reflection and self-inquiry give us the tools to reconnect with our inner world, understand our motivations, and chart a course toward becoming who we want to be. Reflection is more than just thinking about the events of the day or recalling what happened. It's a deliberate and thoughtful examination of our experiences, feelings, and reactions. Through reflection, we create space between ourselves and our daily routines, allowing us to observe patterns in our behavior and emotions that often go unnoticed. This practice helps us become more aware of what drives us, what challenges us, and what brings us fulfillment. Self-inquiry, on the other hand, is the process of asking deep, honest questions about ourselves. It goes beyond surface-level introspection to probe our beliefs, values, fears, and desires. Questions like, why do I react this way? What do I truly want? Or what beliefs are holding me back? Lead us to uncover the root causes of our thoughts and behaviors. This kind of questioning challenges our assumptions and often reveals blind spots that keep us stuck. Together, reflection and self-inquiry form the foundation of self-awareness, the cornerstone of personal transformation. When we are aware of ourselves in a clear and compassionate way, we gain the power to change. Awareness shines a light on areas in our lives that need attention and improvement. It helps us identify limiting beliefs and habits so we can consciously decide to replace them with healthier, more empowering ones. Reflection and self-inquiry help us understand the impact of our past on our present. Our history shapes who we are. Our successes, traumas, relationships, and cultural background all influence our world view. By reflecting on these influences, we gain perspective and can choose which parts of our story to carry forward and which to release. This process allows us to break free from the unconscious patterns that may be holding us back, freeing us to create new narratives aligned with our true selves. Incorporating regular reflection and self-inquiry into our lives also fosters emotional intelligence. By examining our feelings with curiosity rather than judgment, we learn to manage emotions more effectively and respond to situations with greater clarity and calm. This emotional mastery is crucial for navigating life's challenges and building healthier relationships with others. Importantly, reflection and self-inquiry cultivate patience and compassion towards ourselves. Transformation is rarely linear or easy. It requires kindness in moments of struggle and mistakes. When we approach our inner world with gentle curiosity instead of harsh criticism, we build a supportive relationship with ourselves. This self-compassion nurtures resilience and keeps us motivated on the path of growth. Practically speaking, there are many ways to engage in reflection and self-inquiry. Journaling is a powerful tool that allows us to articulate our thoughts and feelings, making the abstract concrete. Meditation and mindfulness practices encourage present moment awareness and help us observe our minds without getting lost in them. Conversations with trusted friends, mentors, or therapists can also offer fresh perspectives and deepen our understanding. The importance of reflection and self-inquiry lies in their ability to transform us from reactive beings into intentional creators of our lives. When we pause to reflect and question, we move from living by autopilot or external expectations to living with purpose and authenticity. This shift opens the door to true transformation, a transformation that is rooted not in fleeting trends or external validation, but in a deep, abiding understanding of who we are and who we want to become. In a fast-paced world, taking the time for reflection and self-inquiry might seem like a luxury, but in reality it is an essential act of self-care and empowerment. It is through these practices that we learn to disappear from the noise of the outside world and turn inward, creating the foundation for the profound transformation we seek. Releasing what no longer serves you is a vital step on the path to personal transformation and growth. In our lives, we often accumulate more than just possessions. We carry emotional baggage, limiting beliefs, unhealthy habits, and even relationships that weigh us down. These burdens can silently drain our energy, block our progress, and prevent us from becoming the fullest versions of ourselves. Learning to identify and let go of what no longer serves us is an act of courage and self-love, and it opens the door to freedom and renewal. At its core, releasing is about making a conscious choice to stop holding onto anything that causes harm or stagnation. It might be fear, resentment, guilt, or old narratives we tell ourselves that define our worth or potential. These internal barriers often go unnoticed because they become so familiar. They form the invisible walls that keep us confined to old patterns. But once we become aware of them, we can begin the process of dismantling these walls brick by brick. One of the most challenging aspects of releasing what no longer serves us is overcoming attachment. Human beings are naturally wired to hold on for comfort, security, or identity. Even if something is toxic or limiting, it can feel familiar and safe. This paradox means that letting go often feels like losing a part of ourselves, even if that part causes pain. The key is to shift our perspective and understand that releasing is not about loss, but about making room for growth. It is about creating space for new opportunities, healthier relationships, and deeper self-awareness. Releasing what no longer serves you also involves setting boundaries, sometimes for the first time. Boundaries protect your energy and well-being by clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not. They might mean saying no to people or situations that drain you, or distancing yourself from environments that don't nurture your growth. Setting boundaries is a powerful form of self-respect and a declaration that your peace and happiness matter. Another important element is forgiveness, both of others and yourself. Holding onto resentment or regret can anchor you in the past, preventing forward movement. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions or forgetting what happened. Rather, it is about freeing yourself from the emotional grip of pain. When you forgive, you release the heavy burden of bitterness and open your heart to healing and compassion. The process of releasing is not always neat or quick. It often involves cycles of resistance, grief, and even confusion. You might find yourself clinging to old habits out of comfort, or feeling uncertain about who you are without them. This is natural and part of the transformation journey. Patience and self-compassion are essential companions during these times. Practically, releasing what no longer serves you can take many forms. It might start with journaling to identify what feels heavy or draining. It could involve therapy or coaching to explore deep-rooted patterns. It may mean decluttering your physical space, which often mirrors the mental and emotional clutter inside. Mindfulness practices help you observe attachments without judgment and gently guide you toward letting go. Importantly, releasing is not about denying the past or pretending problems don't exist. It is about choosing not to carry unnecessary weight into your future. It is about honoring your growth by shedding what limits your potential. When you release what no longer serves you, you reclaim your power. You step into your life with greater clarity and confidence. The space you create invites creativity, joy, and connection to flow freely. It's like pruning a tree so that new branches can grow stronger and healthier. In essence, releasing is an act of transformation. It is the shedding of old skin to reveal new vitality beneath. It is a courageous, ongoing practice that supports your evolution into a more authentic, empowered, and fulfilled person. The choice to release is the choice to live more fully. Transformation is a journey that demands two essential qualities, courage and patience. It is rarely a quick or easy process. Instead, it is often filled with uncertainty, discomfort, and moments when giving up seems like the easiest option. Yet, it is precisely in these challenges that transformation takes root and blossoms. Understanding the roles of courage and patience can empower us to stay committed to the path of change and growth, even when it feels difficult. Courage is the fuel that ignites transformation. To transform ourselves means to step beyond the familiar, to venture into the unknown. It requires us to confront fears, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing who we once were. This confrontation is not a single heroic act, but a continuous, often quiet, commitment to face what scares us most. Whether it's breaking free from limiting beliefs, changing unhealthy habits, or pursuing a new path in life, courage pushes us to take the first step and keep moving forward despite doubts. Many people hesitate to embrace change because it threatens their comfort zones. Our brains are wired to seek safety and predictability, so transformation often triggers resistance. It's much easier to stay where things feel safe, even if that safety comes with dissatisfaction or unhappiness. But courage helps us resist this pull. It invites us to embrace vulnerability, knowing that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Patience, on the other hand, is the steady companion to courage. Transformation is not instantaneous. It unfolds gradually, often in ways we don't immediately recognize. Patience allows us to honor this process without frustration or self-judgment. It teaches us to trust the timing of our growth, to understand that setbacks are not failures but necessary parts of the journey. When we cultivate patience, we learn to celebrate small victories and progress rather than demanding perfection or immediate results. This mindset fosters resilience and keeps us motivated even during tough times. It's like tending a garden. We plant seeds, water them, and wait for the blooms. We don't force growth. Instead, we nurture it with consistent care. Together, courage and patience create a powerful balance. Courage pushes us to begin and persist through challenges, while patience grounds us in acceptance and perseverance. Without courage, we may never start the journey. Without patience, we risk giving up too soon. Transformation also involves embracing uncertainty. The path forward is often unclear, and this ambiguity can trigger anxiety. Courage helps us face the unknown without retreating, and patience reminds us that clarity will come with time and experience. These qualities enable us to stay present and engaged, rather than becoming overwhelmed by fears of the future. Another important aspect is self-compassion. Transformation asks us to be kind to ourselves when we stumble or progress slowly. Courage is not about being fearless, but about continuing despite fear. Patience means forgiving ourselves and recognizing that growth is messy and nonlinear. By combining courage, patience, and compassion, we create a supportive inner environment that encourages lasting change. It's also worth noting that transformation is deeply personal. What requires courage and patience for one person may look very different for another. Some transformations involve dramatic life changes, while others unfold quietly in everyday decisions and mindset shifts. Regardless of scale, the principles remain the same. In practice, building courage can involve setting small challenges that push your limits gradually. This might mean speaking up when you usually stay silent, trying something new, or acknowledging difficult emotions instead of avoiding them. Building patience can involve mindfulness practices, journaling, or simply reminding yourself that growth takes time. Transformation is a brave act of becoming. It's about daring to change and trusting that, with time, the new version of yourself will emerge. When courage and patience come together, they form the foundation that supports this beautiful and sometimes difficult process. Remember, transformation is not a race but a journey. It is in the ongoing commitment, sometimes bold, sometimes gentle, that we discover our true potential and create meaningful, lasting change in our lives. Change is one of the few constants in life, yet it remains one of the most challenging experiences to navigate. The unknown, what lies beyond our familiar routines and comfort zones, can evoke feelings of fear, anxiety, and resistance. But embracing change and the unknown is essential for transformation and growth. It opens the door to new possibilities, fresh perspectives, and deeper self-awareness. At its core, embracing change means accepting that life is fluid and ever-evolving. When we resist change, we create internal tension and stagnation. We cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves us, because the unknown feels uncertain and risky. This resistance can trap us in patterns of frustration, dissatisfaction, or fear. But when we choose to embrace change, we allow ourselves to flow with life's natural rhythms and tap into the potential that change brings. One of the greatest obstacles to embracing change is fear. Fear of failure, fear of loss, or fear of the unknown can paralyze us. These fears often stem from a desire for control and certainty. We want to know what will happen next, to have a clear map to follow. But life rarely offers such guarantees. The unknown is inherently unpredictable, and that unpredictability can feel threatening. Yet, it is precisely in stepping into the unknown that we find growth and transformation. Embracing change requires a shift in mindset, from seeing change as a threat to viewing it as an opportunity. This shift allows us to approach new situations with curiosity and openness rather than resistance. When we adopt this perspective, we become explorers of our own lives, willing to take risks and learn from whatever unfolds. Even when things don't go as planned, the experience itself becomes valuable. Embracing the unknown means cultivating resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and adapt to new circumstances. It is not about avoiding challenges, but about meeting them with strength and flexibility. When we build resilience, we become better equipped to handle the twists and turns that change brings. We learn to see obstacles as temporary and growth as ongoing. Another crucial aspect of embracing change is surrender, the willingness to let go of control and trust the process. Surrender does not mean giving up or being passive. It means accepting what is beyond our control and focusing our energy on what we can influence. This acceptance reduces anxiety and opens us to the possibilities hidden within uncertainty. Embracing change also fosters creativity and innovation. When we step outside of our comfort zones, we are forced to think differently, find new solutions, and discover untapped potential. Many great breakthroughs and personal transformations come from moments of uncertainty when we are pushed to explore new ways of being and thinking. It's natural to want a roadmap for change, but often the path is revealed step by step. This requires us to be present and attentive, to listen to our intuition, and to be flexible in adjusting our course. Patience and self-compassion become vital companions on this journey, helping us to navigate the unknown without harsh self-judgment. Practically speaking, embracing change can involve small daily practices like trying new things, asking questions, or challenging old habits. It can also mean making bigger life decisions that require faith in the unknown, such as changing careers, moving to a new place, or ending relationships that no longer align with our growth. Embracing change and the unknown is about surrendering to life's flow and trusting ourselves to navigate whatever comes. It is an invitation to grow beyond fear and limitation into a fuller, more authentic expression of who we are. When we embrace change, we open ourselves to transformation, not just in external circumstances, but deep within. We discover strength we didn't know we had, wisdom gained through experience, and a vibrant sense of possibility. The unknown becomes not something to fear, but a space where new life and new versions of ourselves can emerge. When we think about transformation, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that we must become perfect, flawless in every way, completely changed overnight, and without any missteps along the way. But transformation is not about perfection. It is about progress, the steady, sometimes messy, always imperfect journey toward becoming the best version of ourselves. The pressure to be perfect can be overwhelming. It often leads to procrastination, self-doubt, and fear of failure. When we expect perfection, we set an unattainable standard that can make every small setback feel like a catastrophe. This mindset can stop us from even starting the process of change because we worry we won't measure up or that we must do it right from the beginning. But transformation is a process, not an event. It unfolds gradually through the choices we make each day, the lessons we learn from our mistakes, and the small wins we accumulate over time. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Recognizing this frees us from the tyranny of perfection and allows us to embrace growth with compassion and patience. Progress over perfection means accepting that mistakes are part of the journey. Mistakes don't mean failure, they mean learning. Each misstep is an opportunity to understand ourselves better, to refine our approach, and to grow stronger. When we stop fearing mistakes, we open ourselves to experimentation and creativity, which are essential for transformation. Transformation is deeply personal. What progress looks like for one person might be very different for another. It's important to honor your own pace and path instead of comparing yourself to others or adhering to external standards. Progress is about moving toward your unique goals and values, not about fitting into someone else's mold. Celebrating progress also helps build motivation and resilience. When we acknowledge how far we've come, even if the end goal still feels distant, we reinforce positive habits and build confidence. This positive feedback loop makes it easier to continue moving forward, even when challenges arise. Another crucial aspect is self-compassion. Being kind to ourselves during transformation is vital because it nurtures resilience and encourages persistence. When we face setbacks, instead of harsh criticism, we can choose to respond with understanding and encouragement. This compassionate attitude creates a supportive inner environment that fosters lasting change. Transformation also requires patience. Lasting change rarely happens overnight. It demands time for new habits to form, for new mindsets to take root, and for old patterns to fade. Patience allows us to stay committed to the journey without becoming discouraged by temporary obstacles or slow progress. It's helpful to set realistic goals and break down big changes into manageable steps. This approach keeps progress visible and achievable. Small, consistent actions compound over time and create meaningful transformation. Focusing on progress helps us stay flexible. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes our goals or circumstances shift. Progress means adapting and evolving, not rigidly sticking to a plan that no longer fits. It's about learning, growing, and moving forward in ways that honor our changing needs and insights. In essence, transformation is a path paved with imperfect steps, learning curves, and evolving self-awareness. By embracing progress over perfection, we free ourselves to explore, grow, and become who we truly want to be. Remember, transformation is not about reaching a flawless destination. It's about the courage to keep moving forward, step by step, no matter how imperfect those steps may be. It's in this ongoing progress that real change happens and a more authentic, empowered version of ourselves emerges.